before I get into the video, I just want to make it very clear that I do not intend this to be a hate video. I do not intend this to be a negative video in any sense, because I feel it's pointless in this space. I feel everyone wants to one-up each other and everyone wants to be the next dog. And I admit that I am a nobody. No one knows who I am. Which is why I feel like I've got to make this video, because I feel that a big supporter of my club got this wrong. And look, I am a massive fan of Craig and Anfield Agenda. I think the story of Anfield Agenda is absolutely magical. I think you look at the guy, and I'm not going to go too detailed into his backstory, but what he's been through in his life and the things that he's overcome to be able to build the Anfield Agenda empire, but able to create what he's done is absolutely unbelievable. And I cannot say I have enough respect for the guy. I cannot say a bad thing about him, really. Until Sunday, where I felt that his reaction to Liverpool's 0-0 draw with Man United was over the top, reactionary, bizarre, and a bad representation of the fan base. And look, I get that he has always been a very passionate character, and I've always liked that about Craig. He's a class act, Craig. He's very invested, he knows what it means, he knows what the club means, and I do really dig that. I get that Liverpool Man United is a massive fixture. It's one that people mark in their calendar from the start. It's the biggest game in the world, pretty much, in English football. That you can make that argument. It is the biggest game, the biggest rivalry, gets the most viewership every year. Everyone watches in globally to see this fixture, and I get for Liverpool to rock up and put in a performance like they did on Sunday was disappointing. However, I think Craig got it completely wrong in his match reaction. The way he reacted, I get, right after a loss. You are going to say things that you're going to regret. You are going to react in a way which is frustration, and you don't really mean it. However, I've watched Craig's stream yesterday, and he doesn't seem to have changed really too much. He doesn't seem to have really, realised what he said was bad. He's kind of still, going in on the same things he was going in at on Sunday. Now, there's three major people that he really went in on for the game. Jurgen Klopp, Mohamed Salah, and Darwin Núñez. Now, I think Darwin Núñez is the one where it's okay, you can kind of understand why you were frustrated with him, but he went way too far with how he went at Darwin Núñez. Yes, Núñez put in a very poor performance on Sunday, and yes, he's had a very bad goal drought, but the way he spoke about Núñez, calling him a donkey, saying to send him back to Uruguay, was ridiculous. This is a big striker, and this is a guy that you have defended. Craig has defended Darwin Núñez for a long time, pretty much since he came in. He's been a big fan of him, so I really don't get this sudden U-turn from it. I felt that the forward line were really poor on Sunday, but I actually thought Salah was the best of the front three. Not that any of them were very good, but out of the three, I don't get why Salah was getting a lot of pelters. I get he's the big star on the big money, but he made a lot more happen than, say, Diaz or Núñez, who were constantly caught offside throughout the game and really didn't offer a lot. But I feel that the way Craig reacted to this attack, it was an unlucky day. 8 times out of 10, we win that fixture. One of those early chances falls right. You know, the one where Onana drops the ball and Diaz should score, but he kind of scuffs it. On another day, he scores that and we win 3-0. It was fine margins, the game. The way he went on and called the players bosslers, or the way he'd go on and say that they were lifeless, I did not see that in the performance. They really tried. They did not give up until the 90th minute. It was not a performance where it was there was a lack of energy. They were up for it, but it just did not go their way. Man United played with a very specific way. They played for the 0-0 draw, and they got exactly what they were looking for. Varane put in probably one of his best performances in Man United shirt, alongside Luke Shaw, who were both brilliant. But I thought our defence were also very strong. Konate and Van Dijk and Alisson absolutely saved the game for us. Again, like they have been recently. It's fine margins. In the 7-0 thrashing, Liverpool had 8 shots on target. In the game on Sunday, Liverpool had 8 shots on target. It's unlucky. But my biggest issue with Craig's match reaction was the way he spoke about Jurgen Klopp. Now, Jurgen Klopp is a man who I know Craig is very fond of. He would never go as far to say Klopp out. Even last season, he always had Klopp back. But I do think sometimes the way he talks about him is an issue. I think the way he spoke about him on Sunday was really poor. The way he complained about him not making subs at half time. And I really don't get what Klopp did wrong. Now, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but Klopp made the correct subs. The substitutes he made were very similar to the ones he did at Crystal Palace, which everyone praised those substitutes because they helped us to win the game. You could argue that maybe Harvey Elliott should have came on a bit earlier, but that's only a minute thing, and I think the way that he called Klopp this bottler and really went in on him and criticised what he's going to say in the match reaction before he'd even said it was very immature, was bizarre, and not right for me. I think Klopp has done amazing things with this team. It isn't the end of the world, this performance, and I get it's a big fixture, but at the end of the day, we didn't lose. If Højlund would have put away that stick and we lost, maybe Craig's reaction would have been slightly more justified, but it's a 0-0 draw. We won about 4 or 5 on the bounce. You know what I mean? We got the point at the Etihad. Like, we have been on very good form, and maybe we've not had the best performances, but we've got a few big games coming up. The next 3 in the Premier League are Arsenal, Burnley, and Newcastle. You win those 3 and the narrative has changed. I hate the fickleness. I hate the reactionary way us football fans work. People forget the bigger picture. People don't realise that Diogo Jota, McAllister and Thiago are going to be back soon and they're going to be massive for us. People don't realise that Núñez might score against Arsenal. He might score the winner and then all the narrative is going to change. And this is the issue. And I don't like this reactionariness from Craig. It was over the top. It was insane, some of the stuff he was saying. The way he was telling us to sell Mohamed Salah was ridiculous. Mohamed Salah is the number 2 scorer in the Premier League behind Erling Haaland. He scored 11 goals. 11 goals. That's way more than someone like Saka, who everyone loves. Like, he is absolutely having a great season, Mohamed Salah. And he was the best forward on Sunday. I do not get this agenda with Salah. He goes on about this eye test. Because Salah is adapting his game because he's older. He may not have what he used to have, but he's finding new ways. He's, you know, a playmaker. He played a lot of passes into other forwards who did not deliver. And as for Darwin Núñez, it was a poor performance from him, but we got to get behind the guy. We got to give him chances. You know, we got to let him deliver. Because he's shown in moments like that Newcastle game that he has what it takes. And for a Liverpool fan to turn on Núñez in the way that they did was terrible. Also, the lack of mention of Luis Diaz's performance really confused me, because Diaz, to me, was the weakest of the front 3. He had a couple sitters he absolutely missed, and he was very poor in possession, got caught offside multiple times, did a few cool tricks, but for me, Diaz has been very poor lately, but Craig doesn't seem to mention that, and I don't get that. I don't get why Núñez and Salah got pelters, but Diaz didn't, when Diaz was the worst of the 3 of them. He even criticised Gakpo, who I thought came on and actually put some life into the game. Yeah, he took a few shots that were poor, and he didn't have a great performance, but I really did not get the way he reacted there. So, again, this is not a hate video. This is not a video where I'm trying to criticise Craig. I have huge admiration for what the guy's achieved, but I think on Sunday he went way too far, and I think on Sunday the way he reacted was disappointing as a Liverpool fan, and he disappointed the fan base. But look, my actual opinion on the game itself, I was frustrated. But I was frustrated in the sense that because Man City slipped up that weekend, I thought I really want the 3 points, but I could see it coming a mile away. Man United had one game plan from minute 1. They wanted the 0-0 draw, they played for it and they played into our hands. We were very unlucky, but we didn't create enough chances, we ran out of ideas, I felt, and I did feel the forwards at times were lazy, but I definitely felt people kept trying. There were a few moments where it's like, there's a Trent has a great shot that missed the goal by this, like he had Onana beaten, he just got it off by like that much. Van Dijk of course had the chance, which of course, I know it went right into Onana's hands, but maybe a bit more than that could have gone in. There was a few chances that really were unlucky, in a sense. But look, we've got 2 big games coming up. We've got West Ham in the Cup tomorrow night, which I really desperately want to win that. Because if we get through that, then win the semi-final, and that's a really good chance for a trophy. As all the kind of the big teams, bar Newcastle, kind of out of that cup. I think Newcastle play Chelsea, and notice how I don't call Chelsea a big team. So I really want to win that. And then Arsenal, I think, is a big statement. If we go, we have to try and beat Arsenal now, after. And I think, if you would have told me 4 points in those 2 games, we got to really focus on that Arsenal game. And I believe we have all it takes to beat Arsenal. I've not been convinced entirely by them at times this season. And I think if we are at our best and Arsenal are at our best, we beat Arsenal. It's just what Liverpool are going to get. So yeah, that is my reaction to Craig and how I feel. I was just disappointed with how it reacted. But look, I'm still going to support Craig. I'm still going to watch him, obviously. I feel like it had to be said because I was disappointed in one of the big figures in our fan base.